Whoa, whoa, hello, hi. Didn't hear you come in or I'd be wearing much more towel. Hi, my name is Grimnir Singebeard. You may recognise me from the Alignment Unknown podcast, or the shower I've just came out of. Either way, so I'm guessing this is when we're recording now, guys? Brilliant. Okay, well, the writers of the podcast have asked me to do a brief announcement to tell you, the listeners and viewers of our podcast last stream, that we're going to be doing a live day of gaming. Saturday the 15th of June, you can come along at 2:30 p.m. and learn to play D&D. You can come along at 7:30 in the evening if you like and just watch it. Then we'll be teaming up with Modified Roll. They'll be brilliant. Either way, yeah, Saturday 15th of June, 2 o'clock or 7:30. You can buy a ticket for each of those events at £10 a ticket for standard or £8 for concessionary. If you'd like to get a day pass, which covers both of them, you're going at £18 for a standard or £16 for concessionary day pass. Either way, go to their website and buy a ticket. Otherwise, I may have to get reckless. I don't sound threatening when I'm just in a towel, do I? Fine. Go to the website! No webcams! There they are.
No.
There they are.
No, we're not.
Those beautiful things. I can get a lot more of the of that wonderful graffiti in this week. I don't know how I've done this, but
The power of love.
Still up for commission.
this is, for anyone who's watching, this is why you don't wear a hat all day, because you look gorgeous. Jeez. Anyway.
Welcome to Steve's
do
hair
like
and
the
makeup
colours.
tips.
Makeup and buttholes on Friday. Anyway, that's a true facts joke which only me gets. Anyway,
If you get that reference, please clean your brain.
Please
if
don't.
anyone, for you three, for after this, go and watch True Facts About Lemurs.
True facts about the Leigh.
This looks like it comes from an Instagram account called Friday Makeup Tips and Buttholes. Anyway,
That is how a lemur do.
yes, there it is. Anyway, hi everyone. And scene. So welcome to it.
You say unseen, that means it's the end, right? And
See you next week. Right, so welcome to Alignment Unknown, stream 2 of, if it's running well, about stream 2 of 150, but it depends on how many of these I get done before the
Wait, I've got 3 years of this.
Oh, you think we're going to get it consecutively? It's 4. Anyway.
I'm quite happy about this. Means I get to keep friends for longer.
Too real.
Welcome one and all.
And that's why I drink.
Are you good? Have you had a good weekend?
We're a cuddle puddle.
We're a cuddle puddle. I'm going to do some brief talk and then we're going to get into that sweet game. Because shit's going down apparently.
I didn't think that would land so well.
Names, that's it.
Excuse me.
So,
So, every now and then with the podcast you'd get that little 5-minute blip at the beginning of every 3rd or 4th episode. This is what was happening, just this.
every single
Every section.
Before we record, after, during, that.
Yeah.
Quality just hits somewhere. Anyway.
Please give us money.
No, she means via Patreon, not just from a moving car. Dashing coins out from the
Take it
street.
anyway. Oh, it would be being like the Mayday floats, chucking pennies.
Well, Kyra says she exits the door and gets a £2 thrown into a skull.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
to get us back into where the fudge we are. Is everyone
About to
happy?
die.
Yes.
I
Everybody
remember.
okay?
I'm
Yes.
quite happy.
Any questions I can answer before we go into stuff?
No, I want to kill stuff. Do I have to pave to survive?
Pave. You said how much do you have to pave?
How much do you have to pave?
Pay you. Pay.
Are we going for...
Tickled.
That's what they say about me.
You need to manscape more.
It's the beard.
I mean, I really enjoy it, Adam, is all I'll say. Anyway,
3+. Sorry.
I'm sorry, did we just get what Kyra said?
yes.
Okay, good.
I did.
We're making sure that wasn't just...
Just... Guys, I'm looking at opening a new podcast, something along the lines of Alignment Renown or something like that. It's going to be really...
Alignment found.
Alignment finally gone. If anyone wants to play Ed Spence, I'm free.
We'll just open a chat and innuendo podcast.
Can we talk about films as well?
No. We've just got to pick our favourite innuendo from the week.
I'm trying to stop myself saying you're my favourite innuendo of the week, but that's just because I don't want to be sloppy. Anyway.
Innuendo is an Italian suppository.
So, previously. I lost my mind. Are we all ready?
Come on, people.
Let's do this. Professionalism. We've been 5 minutes into this stream already, and already the one person who's watching has probably left. Anyway,
I blame sugar.
don't you blame Alan about this. Anyway. Oh! Remember everyone, our favourite innuendo of this week would be that it was Alan Bennett's birthday. Because that somehow is an innuendo to teenage boys. And
No, not even allegedly. That's
literally in.
That's just libel.
I've seen the history, boys. Anyway, excuse me whilst I continue.
And
So let's go into the previously, shall we?
please don't.
Please don't. I mean, I need to. This is how the game starts. Go visit our Patreon for money. Go to Twitch for streaming. Go to the Y Theatre for tickets.
Yay!
Announcement's done. That was so caring, Steve. Anyway, previously. Meeting on the northern bank and the market district of the city of Luskan. 4 strangers meet for the first time. And then immediately died, and we moved on to a new campaign. Fuck's sake.
Music sounded so hopeful.
That's because I'm trying to give you something. A tiefling doctor turned tour guide for the city and her free customers, 2 humans with different interests in the city, and a construct companion. Those characters respectively, Dr. Planchett, Klaxis, Hororae Moro, and Pivot. As the city deals with an attack, the group investigate the haunted ruins of a long-missing member of the city council with a hired paladin from the Order of Cognition named Ellipsis. Finding a dishevelled and long-since ransacked collection of rooms, the group meets a skull that seems to be stuck on the material plane in his own limbo. Apparently the soul of the first owner of the mansion.
Honestly, because he's just sculling really good at limbo. That's awful.
Also found in the building were an old torture chamber and the ghost of some sort of nanny that once lived here. Guided into the attic to the cause of the souls entrapped here, the group searched around the corners of the room as Pivot and Ellipsis hold the door. And there, in the far eastern corner of the room, eastern corner of the room, I can't draw for shit. If the map's that way.
Yeah, it's fine. I can fix it quick.
It's fine. Thank you.
Done.
Sweet. And there in the far eastern corner of the room, Klaxis found the source of the chain rattling was actually that of a large cobra skeleton, which reared up to face him.
Rude.
And that is where we pick up. So, loves, I think the best way to get into this whole thing, just so you're aware, for a brief pickup of what's around you, you're currently in quite a large 60-foot wide attic space. The ceiling is about 20 feet above you. You're in the crawl space, or more like the gangway than crawl space, above the buildings that links to the second turret of the ruins of Ilusk, which was more like an archway. So you're currently stood in the first section of the gangway. There is plethora of barrels and random assortment, or what that word says there, and boxes, and the rest of the space is clear. You can see because Ellipsis has used his greatsword to use the light cantrip.
Has he got a full He-Man?
He's got full by the power.
I have the power!
And he then jumps onto Pivot's back. Anyway. So, that's where you are. You can see, unfortunately, as we said last time, we're not going to be able to show you the battle map just yet because of setup, but we will describe more.
But just, Patreon.
Patreon.
Do that, we can go down the camera.
But also, we're still a podcast, so we should still describe
Yeah, we should.
Oh, yeah.
We should. We shouldn't
It's good
lean on the...
with
Enter
sounds.
of the mind.
Oh, I was going for accessibility, but... Cool.
I mean, also accessibility, but,
Theatre of Mind sounds like a really fun film.
So just the sound.
So, with that being in mind, shall we roll some initiative?
Yes!
Woo! For the first time? Oh, no.
As per usual. For fuck's sake. I mean, Pivot
And you
did
roll
better.
Pivot's initiative as well.
I have done that.
Lovely. So, can I have, for the first time ever, Klaxis?
10.
10, lovely. Hororae Moro.
7.
Okay, right, I thought it was shit.
7, lovely. Pivot.
13.
Do you want to keep the 20 my app roll? And finally, Dr. Susanna Planchett.
As per usual, 8.
Oh my god.
so
calories.
So I'm just going to ruin
I'm
shit
just
now.
really fascinated by the stuff in the corner
I'm
of
just
this
going to
room.
open the gambit with the snake thing rolled 21.
Oh,
So,
of course it did.
I can't be asked to hold the suspense any longer. Let's have some fun, kids.
So what we're saying is, even though it's directly in front of me, I'm still like, wait a minute.
Right, so we start the top of the round with the skeleton, for want of a better name. It is going to rear back its head, looks directly down into your face as you quickly pull your blade and your shield, and it's just going to lunge down and try to bite at you. That's a natural 2. So, would a 7 hit, darling?
No.
Okay, so just lunges down just as you're bringing your shield up, the teeth slam into the side of the shield, you just knock it away and just prepare yourself for an attack. That is its turn. That brings us to Ellipsis, who is going to...
On 3 dots.
Yes, darling. Ellipsis is going to... Excuse me, I'm going to have to disappear over this way. Bye! Alright, so Ellipsis is going...
Where's it gone?
Oh my gosh! He disappeared!
Kill me. Right, so...
Everyone says. I don't know why I said that. I immediately regret that.
I'm really sorry. I think I'm
T.
living off.
So, Ellipsis runs
Not gonna
across...
say the B word again. I really did.
runs across the room towards...
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. No. Stop myself. It doesn't count.
Lovelies.
Sorry.
Ellipsis runs across the room towards you, Klaxis, so it can give you more light to see what's going on, and also to see what the hell this thing is, and just rid up in like the shadows around you, and immediately just grins and takes the greatsword in 2 hands and just prepares himself ready for anything coming towards him. Pivot. What would Pivot do?
Run at it.
Okay. Do you want me to control Pivot from here for you, or would you have to lean over and do
I
it?
can whip. So he's got a walking speed of 40. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's not close enough to the melee range.
That's fine. So Pivot, who was stood by the door, the trap door that got into the room, has charged over that way towards after your command, and is immediately kind of blocked by Klaxis, but also
Are those kind of cratey things?
yeah,
in the
there crates
sides?
around that.
Because I've never controlled something that big. If he were to dash just so that he was right up next to it, would that still be within melee, or do we need
He'd
to
be within
hit that
melee.
some way?
He'd be within melee, but it'd be a bit of a struggle because he's between the boxes and Klaxis, so he's trying to hit through that little gap with his large arm, essentially.
Okay, I might leave him where he is in the hope that
Okay.
Klaxis will Get the fuck out of the way.
Who knows? We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Well, now he's not.
Klaxis, what would you like to do, my love?
I mean, you've got a
so-
great hulking mechanical thing
That is-
looming over you.
I'm going to scoot around the size of
Lovely.
5'10", mainly because there is this huge brass
Lovely. So
bastard
you
behind it.
seeing this thing come up, you kind of as you bat away the blow that it tries to land on you with your shield, you just sidestep to one side, allowing just as Pivot comes up beside you, just charges up ready to do some stuff, but seems to be just preparing itself rather than actually going in for any combat. The snake kind of follows you with its doesn't have any actual eyes, but the eye sockets seem to be following you.
Oh yeah. Am I allowed to say on the off chance that he happens to move into melee, can Pivot hold his arm strike?
Yeah.
Just in case. It won't happen, but I can.
What's the reach on an arm strike for me?
That's a question that I should know the answer to.
Then we'll say it's 5 foot just because I can't remember
Yeah,
off
I'm
the top of my
pretty
head. If
sure.
you want to check it out, then
I'm pretty sure it either didn't say or is 5 foot. So many bugs.
it should be 5 feet.
I think it's 5 feet.
I'll quickly jump over to my notes for you to see if I can help, because I know that you're working off a homebrew thing.
Frame. Damage means why does it say? And unarmed strike. Doesn't say.
Doesn't give a reach.
Oh damn, he's got. No, I got to pick, and I picked unarmed strike. That was it. It doesn't give a reach, so I'm going to assume it's 5 feet.
5 feet then, yeah. Cool. If it comes in within 5 feet, he can do stuff.
Thank you.
Sorry, you've moved to one side?
Yeah, and then I'm going to bring my long sword across my palm of my hand.
Yep.
And give my crimson right, and kind of look back towards the 3 dots at the same time, like, right? And then I'm going to strike it with my long sword.
Cool. Roll for attack.
17 to hit.
Hits.
So that's 1d8 plus 4. So that's 8 plus 2 for dueling. So that's 10, and then an extra 1 radiant damage. So 10 slashing, 1 radiant.
Ooh.
Lovely. Does he have any? No, he doesn't have anything like that. Cool. So, you bringing your blade across your hand, the blood starts to seep down the side of the blade. You immediately arc it across, it slashes across the skull of this cobra creature. It immediately kind of rears back in pain. You sense like this light sensation run across the blade as it kind of burns a little bit deeper than normal with that radiant damage. Anything else for you?
That's grand for me, thanks.
Lovely. Dr. Susanna Planchett.
Okay, I'm assuming she's heard everything that's gone on behind her.
Yes, you would have heard everything. You turn around to see this just off in the corner of the room.
In which case, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Awesome.
And
So you
I...
touch yourself and get ready.
Great.
Oh, I like how the bar's been set this low so early.
And then I'm going to move
bards later.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to move so my back's against the wall and I put an eye line on the giant Hopkins cobra thing.
Lovely.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
That's me done.
Hororae.
I'm remembering what I said when I first created her, and I'm wondering if she even cares. No, I know.
Thank you very much. That's all I'm going to say to you right now.
I know.
2 of them want to go into this house. 2 of them want to go. Now suddenly it's just...
No, she does. She does. I mean, Pivot's in the way, so.
Cool. So you can see this all happening in the background.
Yeah. So she's. I want to move a bit closer. Oh my gosh. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm not going to be able to hit anything because she's got a crossbow.
Yes.
What's UV? Does she need to move closer? Is she going to dash?
She's not real because Pivot's quite big.
Cool.
You can't do anything.
Dashing. 5, 10, 15, 20. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
What?
You could have stood up and done it.
I mean, I could.
Well, you could have asked someone who was close with the longer arms.
It's so rude.
Well, no, we were both like, should we help? Nah. I mean, also, Steve is like...
I got told
Oh,
remember what happened when I stood up in the fight last time?
Yeah.
Oh, your belly's in the...
That's not what anyone said.
Yeah, I don't remember that being happened at all.
That bit was in the prologue one shot where I was told to sit down because I was stood trying to control the battle.
Wasn't here.
I know. Just remember. Cool, so you dash along the side of the room. I'm assuming that is all for you, darling.
Yes, that is all I can do.
Coming back to the love. Who is going to?
This is fun. I get 2 rounds of initiative.
You don't.
I'm no.
Yeah, you don't.
Oh
no,
he's smiling.
Bring it the
Into
fuck.
his hand.
Bring it the
That's
fuck
not
on,
fair.
you bastard.
At least make sure the camera can see your evil laugh. This is literally why anyone joins in this.
I'm sorry, because I love playing a hedonist who has like complete like happiness and death. I'm like, I've got no worries
For the rest of his days.
It's like I've lived a fun life, and if I die, I die. Fuck it.
Oh no, his innocence is gone, and it is back. I think my connection's crappy. Yeah,
Yay.
it's not your fault, don't worry. We're back. Al. So,
I will say that Hororae ran up more in a. Oh, that's quite cool.
yeah, I think
Rather
it's going
than.
to stay on you, Klaxis, so it's going to try bite you again.
Hang on.
That is not going to hit, that's 10 to hit.
You can fuck right off.
Okay, with that in mind then, he's going to try crawl up 5 onto the boxes
Oh!
there. You will get an attack of opportunity, Klaxis.
Will I? It's still within 5 foot.
It's crawling down this way,
Okay.
so it will get to
What
about
a
there.
bastard.
So it crawls up onto the box behind it, which it's been kind of cornered in the room with, in that corner of the room, sorry, and then crawls over and round towards Ellipsis' way. That will hit, roll for damage.
So that's 11 slashing
11 slashing.
and 1 radiant.
One radiant, lovely. So again, just as it comes past, you seeing that it's not doing anything specifically to it, but it's dealing a decent amount of damage. Just the same, you slam the blade into the same opening that you created across the skull face, and it kind of hisses again, trying to crawl out of the way. It seems to be realising that you're doing a bit more damage than it is, so it's trying to get out of the way for safety. And it brings us to Ellipsis, who is going to... the funsies. He's a paladin. You know what happens with paladins and undead? They fall in love, and there's a free series book. Anyway,
Join the Patreon to get that book. Oh, you've written it in your head already. I can see it. Are you at a Potter's wheel?
Stephen Meyer doesn't sound right, but was it Stephanie Meyer? I can't remember. I'm trying to do something other than the 90s. Anyway, so Ellipsis is going to run up, and he's going. Why is that not Ellipsis? Ellipsis is going to run up, and he's going to hit the bastard in the face with a great sword, which with 15. Oh, that's going to count anyways. AC's 15. Good. You heard that out loud. Rerolls that because it's a weapon master. Thank God, 8 and 11 points of damage. Lovely. He does 11 points of damage. And he just runs up behind him, takes his great sword, and he just swings like a golf club up and under the face of the creature. And it just again, he's starting to notice parts of the bones falling away from the creature as you, Klaxis, and Ellipsis start swinging at it, and it looks very unhappy with its situation. That brings us to Pivot.
Pivot's going to move up to. I don't think you can make it again. Yeah, we have a go.
How many?
Up to 40.
5, 10, 15, 20. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
25, 30.
35. Yeah. No. Wait.
What?
Wait, go across.
What?
35.
Oh, 30.
Yeah,
35,
there we go.
40.
Sorry. Yay!
Just said right.
It's literally trying to attack the creature, not run at the wall.
Pivot runs up against the creature. and
Confused.
Gets confused as its owner gets changed to another player and runs further towards the wall and stops. No.
Pivot would like to make an unarmed strike, please.
Oh, perfect.
Plus. Ooh, jeez. 17. 19.
19 hits, roll for damage.
Yay. Oh, I didn't think about pivot. I'll get other dice out in a minute. Oh!
5.
Oh, 5 damage with that?
Yes,
Lovely.
5 damage.
Lovely. So you just pivot kind of runs up, very kind of mechanical and still in the early days of his kind of construction. So it's very much very like.
Oh my gosh, he's also beatboxing.
He said scratches.
He's
As
not.
he goes,
That's
he's
what it sounded
scratching.
like, Steve. That's what it sounded like.
If anyone would like to come and be the Foley artist for Hannah's ego, that would be wonderful.
I can do it. There you go. Oh, I didn't break it. He broke it.
It turned into a goldfish.
Thank you for letting us film in your house. Love you.
Apparently, every now and then I just have to run the game, write the game, make everything work, and also not be good enough at noises. Anyway,
I thought it was a very good noise cast.
stop brown-nosing.
Enjoying it.
I really enjoyed
fine.
the beatboxing, to be fair.
Anyway, it runs up like the wrong trousers if you'd like to use a noise reference that I'm not making.
Is it? Please tell me it's powered by a sleepy Wallace.
You're all gonna die tonight.
Sorry.
You're all gonna die.
Bring it on.
Oh, I've been dreaming. Anyway. So, runs up and just, without really any tact or guile, just brings its arm up, back, and straight forward, slams into the face. You hear the crunch of bone as the creature kind of hangs. The jaw is now hanging on one side. That brings us to Klaxis.
Oh shit, yeah, because I forgot I did one of it. I'm going to turn about to face it. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I'll give it another slash with my
So you
long
run up
sword. Yep.
the thighs, the lungs.
25?
25.
Fuck yeah. So go my long sword, so that is 5 plus 6, 11, and then 480 damage.
Lovely. So you again, just as the mechanical fist slams into the side of this skull, and it's now hanging by one link in the jawbone. You run up and just completely sever it. It starts to hang loose. The skeleton seems to be kind of fading almost, as if whatever's powering it seems to be running low. That brings us to Susanna Planchett. Sorry, Doctor.
Thank you. She worked hard for that.
First one of your characters who works hard.
Oh, it's funny because it's true.
I've done plenty of other characters that weren't Harry. Punch worked very hard. It wasn't her fault she didn't have any time.
Waited 5 seconds.
Fuck off.
You can bullshit everyone at this table, but as the DM for all of your characters, no, sweetheart.
Well, just to prove that
Go
things
on.
do run on, there's nowhere I can hit it really, is there?
Without
Without moving closer.
no, you wouldn't be able to hit it because pivot's basically
This
covering it.
pivot's massive.
They're basically the same size at the moment when it's reared up.
25, 30.
Oh, you're playing a coward, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm playing a coward.
shit.
I'm not going close to that
Not
target.
lazy, just scared.
I still don't have any,
No, right now your eye line would. I mean, actually, you'd be able to see it over the top of Ellipsis' head.
Can I pot shot at it, please?
Of course you can.
Uh-oh.
Roll. What are you rolling to attack?
It is a ranged spell attack, so...
You do Eldritch Blast, or?
yes.
Lovely.
Okay.
So we rule out what we're doing. Let's do
Oh,
it.
sorry, I forgot to say.
Oh, that's fine.
I knew what's going on upstairs.
That's alright.
That is... so that is plus 5, so that is a natural 20.
I'll give you, go for it. It just skims over the top of it. I was giving it plus something for the fact it's got a cover with pivot and ellipsis. But it just skims over ellipsis' head, just slams straight into the side of the creature.
7 force.
7 force.
Yes, 7
How do I
force.
do this?
Fuck yeah. I've done something useful for once.
Yeah, your pivot has.
Well, she made pivot, that's close enough.
Yeah.
I want to... Oh, what? Okay, when the Eldritch Blast goes over at Klaxis' head, I kind of want his head to waft and be like, what? You know, like those gunshot things, and it's like, oh my fucking god.
That's ellipsis.
What's that?
Yeah.
Right, I want
Klaxis
to
is the
walk.
one that's here, the other side of the entire.
I'm getting really excited. I haven't killed somebody for ages.
In D&D, she's daily in real life.
Yeah, I want it to waft through his head. He's like, what the fuck's that? And it goes.
He's in the middle part.
Cool.
And so on and so forth.
I'm going to change the music quickly just because we need some change. Anyway, so you kind of running along the way behind the gang, trying to find an opening you can. You quickly launch a ball of energy over the top of Litz's head. The hair kind of, although windswept backwards, goes over for a few seconds. It looks like an unturned umbrella. Anyway, as he turns around and does his best Prince Charles impression of "Where the fuck at?" Anyway, that's a Michael Barrymore joke that should have died with him. Anyway,
Barrymore's not
I
dead,
was
is
going
he?
to do
Barrymore was found in a.
Someone was found in his pool.
Oh, I was just dreaming the other night when I was like, please tell me.
Why did you dream Freddy's death? Did you dream Freddy Star's death?
Oh no.
Carrying a character back on why would you do that to me?
I just knew your pure 80s. That's for killing Linkara a year ago.
Not ready. Okay.
Neither was I. And then you brought him back, you shit.
Kyra, I'll let you kill the character.
One of the Steve
I've
and
got
one
4
of
hit points.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, where do we go from here? Lovely. So, you guys have killed the creature. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to sit and...
Actually, sorry,
Shut.
just quickly go to my notes here to make sure I'm getting this all right. Once the creature is defeated, the house will audibly relax. You hear a low bass drop because apparently beatboxing is in tonight.
Can I just like sit down next to it and just watch it for a while?
I was going to say, Hororae's going to run over and... I'm going to use the word inspect
I'm gonna
because
say-
she's,
cool.
she's looking at what's
I'm
going
not
on.
going to study it.
So,
Like, properly.
let's give a bit more description for this end because I know that I was caught off guard by someone stabbing at my soul.
Touche, bitch.
So,
I should drink more often.
Drink by any chance?
No!
So the Eldritch Blast slams into the skull as it just explodes and then falls into pieces in front of all of you. Hororae and Klaxis immediately just kind of slowly step towards it to get a better look. If you'd like to inspect it and get some sort of knowledge, make a nature check for me. I'll give you Klaxis advantage because of your stuff.
Nature.
19.
No, 11.
Between the pair of you, I'll give it the pair of you. You know this to be a bone naga, which is the undead remains of a naga, which could either be, you're not too sure because you didn't see it cast any spells, but the bone naga is the remains of when this kind of weird Yuan-Ti kind of cobra creature passes on. It's a bit like lichdom for them.
Oh, that's cool.
There are 2 types of naga. There is the spirit and the guardian naga. The spirit is a bit more kind of into offensive spells, whereas the guardian is more into protective spells. And they are basically like magpies. They collect magical items. They live for magic, and are genuinely just pains in the backside, for want of for a better description.
Do I like see anything happen to the remains? Or is it?
It just kind of crumples, and it looks now like an animated skeleton. There's no actual change to it that you can see.
Cool.
So like, what eats I can have?
I just wanted to do a quick investigation on
Yeah.
this.
On the
eventually
room, sorry.
stop
Yes,
looking at.
please.
Lovely.
I'd like to look at the random stuff in the
Okay,
corner.
cool. Make investigation checks for me.
5.
5.
Oh, 25.
25.
Oh no, sorry, I got that wrong.
I find space
11.
and time.
11. I was looking at the
Lovely,
wrong
that's
place.
fine. So you said you were specifically going to look at the corner of random crap in the
I
corner.
like the random.
Yeah, looking through there's just piles of old clothes,
Oh.
couple of
random shit.
yeah, it's
Actually
literally
random shit.
it's kind of like if ever you've been into I don't know devilishly handsome kind of writer type person's spare room where he keeps his filing cabinet stuff or the box of paperwork everywhere. So it's kind of like that.
Full of utter shit then. Okay.
Yeah, it's pointless, useless.
How dare you? There are some great posters in that box. Anyway, so yes, you find there's just a couple of like old like doublets and stuff like that in there for you, Dr. Planchett. I can't call you Ms. Planchett. I apologise.
Just call
Ms.
it Planchett.
Dr. Planchett.
Ms. Dr. Planchett.
Oh no, that's even worse.
You find whilst you're searching around, you also have a brief knowledge of this creature, and you know that they store magical items. So looking around, looking for its little hoard, you find in the far corner of the room where it was first found,
What?
you'll find a small treasure chest. You kick it. You hear a rising piano noise because Nintendo.
Just because.
Just forced up there, yeah.
And inside you find 3 things. There is a small golden ball, a scimitar with the handle looks to be made of like some sort of blue kind of. It looks like the leather's been kind of worked to have some sort of dye in it, and had some embossing and such into it. So it has like this weird kind of paisley design in the handle. And finally, the one that I shouldn't have put in here, but fuck it. Find a wand.
Oh. Oh.
If you use it as one of your like following sticks.
And that's what you find in here.
Can I do history checks on them, please?
Yeah, roll history for me.
Don't you get advantage on history because of you?
No, I just get extra.
You've got
Double
double
proficiency.
proficiency,
That is 9.
9.
Apparently artifacts
Without-
on my
The golden ball you have no idea about. You're scanning over it. It seems to just be like a golden ball with little contraptions and such. Seem to be embedded into it of some sort. It has a little button on the side and has some engraving on the side of it that says the word flint. This scimitar doesn't seem to have any kind of familiar details on it. The wand, you know, has some sort of knowledge or some sort of thing to it, but you also know that the wand you'd need to attune to get the full knowledge and scope of it.
Oh. She's cautious. Oh, thank God for that. What? My other characters have just stuck a hand in. I shout Klaxis over.
Okay.
Can you come and bring Modifiers and Klaxis?
Right, yeah, fine. I'm just drag myself away from this awesome skeletal remains.
It'll still be there when you come back, promise.
I'll wander over and get Matthias out and go.
Do you know anything about this, Matthias?
I mean, like, that entire noise is making me think you do, so.
I'm gonna wander over.
Not a clue. Sorry.
I'm inciting the fuck out of him just because the.
Yeah. Roll.
25.
He knows what the wand is, at least.
Well, I'm going to turn him round. Right, so. What is that?
That's. No, that.
Yorick, what is it?
Horatio, I can't tell you.
Look, that's not in this universe, stop it.
Why you started it?
Touche. What is it?
Okay, so these are some things that I found along my works. So the blade is from a warlock that I used to work with. It's known as Blinker. I don't know why you called it Blinker, but it's called Blinker. there's no easy way to tell you this because there's things that are best left unspoken.
Well, just whisper them then.
No, the blade is from a warlock. It's called Blinker. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to attune to it to get the idea of it.
Is it safe?
It is safe. That I remember. That little golden ball is... the little golden ball is from an artificer that used to pay us for work. If you press the button on the side, it'll do stuff. I can't remember what it does. And that wand is very powerful. Please don't let anyone stupid attune to it.
What's it do?
It's called the Wand of Wonder.
Oh, that's an amazing name.
And it's an amazing wand. Thank you, Wizards.
Can I just dip in and go and like get the ball and go, Hororae, catch. I'll pass it actually.
Yeah.
You look more the bookworm sort of type.
Yeah. Can I use Identify, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit with it for a bit.
Yeah, cool. It takes about 10 minutes for that.
Yeah.
Cool. So as you sit looking at it, do you click the button as it was said, or do you just look at it and inspect it before?
Inspect it first.
Okay, cool. I will send you that.
I'd like to take the blade.
You'd like to send the blade? Cool. So you take
Blinker.
Blinker, the scimitar, yes.
The scimitar, sorry.
Scimitar, yes. See if I think that's the button I need to do. Screenshot. There we go.
You literally send it to me now.
I'm sending you that now. Are you sitting to attune with it?
I would, but my phone is dead.
No, that's fine.
Do you want to send it to me? I think my phone's somewhere.
Yeah, I can send it to whoever needs.
I will. Well, what I'll do is I'll keep it on me because doesn't that naturally tune it to you anyway? If you got it like.
You need to sit and focus your energy on it.
I probably wouldn't now.
Okay, so you sit just looking at it. It's very ornate design.
I'd put it away.
Oh,
and then, yeah.
Cool. So for the 10 minutes that you sit looking, you will get. Where's the buttons?
If you send it to me, I can.
No, that's fine. He's not tuning to it, so
Yeah.
I'm going to send it.
Oh, you know, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm sending this one for
I'll tune to it later
the
on.
lady.
Yeah. I'm busy. Not.
Two. This is really compelling screens. Steve, shush. And also, there we go. That's sent to you. That's what that is.
I'm guessing you'll have the Wand of Wonder.
Quick check before I poke the Wand of Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Wonder with an O or Wonder with an A?
Oh.
Okay, I'm just triple checking.
It's the one that makes you really restless.
Well, that could be a bit awkward.
It's like the virtual, not virtual reality. It's like the
Yes!
I think she likes what she's got.
Hannah's on the fence.
10 minutes later, you just hear from the corner of the room, Hororae go, yes!
Alright, it's not too
this
bad.
is a perfect time for.
Hannah
You
did
sure?
Hannah did that.
I'm
Alright.
going to wander over after you've attuned, and I see you look more relaxed and less attentive. Anyway, because I don't want to disturb your attunement.
Yes. So
It's an Identify spell, not an attunement.
That's right then.
yeah, you play for a couple of minutes, for 10 minutes with it, and you get the sense that this is the information that I've sent you is what you get from it.
Did you make that great brass thing?
Yes.
It's pretty impressive work.
Thank you.
Like, he's terrifying.
That was sort of the point.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna. All right, fine. Cool.
So
Do you need me to take a look at that?
Well, if you want to, I'm happy to. I'm not. I'll keep it, but I'm not bothered.
I mean, no, I don't want it,
Oh, okay,
but I might.
Have a go. Come on.
Okay. I'll identify that as well.
cool. I will send you the knowledge of that.
Yay. Sorry, I'm still reading. I'm quite.
So, right, talking to Modifiers.
Yep.
So what does the Wand of Wonder do? If it's so...
It can do many things. You spend a charge on it, and it's. Are you familiar with Wild Magic Search from you know the sorcerers kind of thing? Those people who. It's kind of a wand of Wild Magic Search.
What?
Oh.
This wasn't mistake.
This is going to be so bad.
I'll prepare my D100s.
Yep.
Um,
It's so perfect for your character.
Yeah, so if I remember rightly, and it's quite a famous one, so, it has about 7 charges. When you hold it and you use an action to spend one of the charges, you choose a target within 120 feet of you. That target can be a creature, an object, a point in space, and you I don't know why, but you kind of think of a number between 1 and 100, say, and you get a result. So, like, say, for example, just going off an idea, if you were to think between 70 and 79, you'd cast Fireball.
Oh!
Do you remember when Ron's wand was broken and he taped it up? Congratulations, that's what you got.
I'm gonna keep slugs!
Yes, you are.
I probably am.
And in the game...
You know what? I'm a big enough coward to decide, if it hurts the thing I'm pointing it at, then it might be an idea.
You're going to need to tune to it as well, though. You have to spend time and stuff, yes.
Anybody want a Wonder Wonder? No? Okay, that's mine. Thank you. I tune to it.
Whilst you guys are all having this
Roll
conversation, you're going to tune to it now. You've done...
Yes.
You've done identified twice, so that's 20... Yeah, you'd have enough time.
Yeah.
So it's about half an hour that you guys have spent up here doing this.
Cool. This is really fascinating, actually. You might find it quite helpful. Are you familiar? Have you seen? I should have thought about it as soon as. I did wonder when he said the name Blinker. Have you ever witnessed somebody kind of disappear and reappear a short space away? Stepping.
No.
Okay. Well, if you use this, you can do that. You can also decide to not move and attack somebody from a certain distance as well.
Please wish.
I'll actually send you the information.
To give an idea for just the table at large and also so the audience can understand, as a bonus action, Blinker can cast Misty Step from the blade a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier. You can also expend a use of Misty Step to attack a creature up to 30 feet away from you. Make an attack roll against them. On a hit, the blade blinks out of existence and slashes across the intended target, returning to your hand at the end of your turn.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Whilst we're here, just because I've said the word flint, and also just in case it happens, that golden ball is an homage and a love to Ed Spence of Roll Up, and it's totally not what his mechanical servant is called in yes. It's really cute. He's so cool. I've designed it in such a way so it's like my mechanical constructor settings for Pivot, but the name is from a certain love from Roll Up who has been here before. And
So can I just clarify?
Yep.
So the idea is that it turns into a mechanical hummingbird.
Oh, adorable. Adorable.
Which I absolutely
Called
hadn't
Truffle.
already thought about making. Called Truffle.
It's the snitch.
Literally. It literally looks much like the golden snitch. So I get the sense that the idea is that you can send it ahead to scout because it's got dark vision and immunities and stuff like that. So is it able to communicate back? Am I able to see through
understands
its
common
eyes?
but cannot speak. You have no way of seeing through its eyes, but it can communicate a bit like how Pivot communicates with you.
Yeah.
You get used to certain responses to certain things.
Yeah.
So it can shake its head and say yes and no and stuff like that, but it can't speak.
Cool.
I
thought that was it, but I just wanted to check. Yay!
Okay. Is there another door in this room?
There is one door, which I was about to bring to now. You've all finished. Ellipsis is currently stood, just arms crossed. The blade has been, the greatsword has been left in the middle of the room to just light the entire room, and he's just sat, kind of arms crossed, staring at this door, which is on the far side of the room, to the west of the room.
No, it's titled up next to him.
You see on the wall there is kind of like a plaque that's been put that says "Do not enter," warning death.
Ooh.
I mean,
How does it look like it's written? Such a nerdy thing to ask.
It looks like it's quite
Comic Sans.
yes, papyrus.
I mean, is it a
no, it's a plaque.
nicely calligraphed plaque,
It's
or
a
is it
plaque that
hastily written in blood? In blood.
it's a plaque of wood which has had it burnt into the
Okay.
burnt into the wood.
That's a pretty permanent decision then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a listen at said door?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Yeah, is it just locked or is it like boarded or?
If you go over seeing this as well, you try it just as Klaxis moves away. It's locked. 14. You can hear some kind of like low humming noise, but you're not too sure what else is behind it.
I turn to 3 dots and be like, do you want to kick it open or whatever?
I've just been, whilst you guys were doing your thing over there, I've done one of my paladin-y things and fucking hate it. Anyway, there is something quite nasty behind this door. I think it's probably best it's left locked.
I mean, but we've got like a contract, haven't we, to like clear the house of whatever.
Yeah, and it kind of cooled down a minute ago, so I think we're safe.
I'll get Matthias out and go, do you know what's behind like this door?
No, not a clue. Sorry.
I mean, again, you're answering in a way that makes me not believe a word you're saying.
That's because I know exactly what's behind that door, and I'm suggesting we don't go behind it.
But I want you to tell me what's behind the door, Matthias.
Okay, so there's a reason that ghosts have been... Ah! Well, that's a question answered. Anyway, excuse me.
I mean, what?
Are you okay?
Well, so...
I'm going to shake him like an 8-ball.
Answer undecided. Try again later.
Oh, that's that side. Tell us what's behind the door.
Okay, there's a rift behind the door. We locked it through arcane means. That's the thing that has been causing some issues recent. No, not recent.
Can you close the rift?
No, it's a tear which we weren't strong enough to sort. We've managed to put a kind of like an arcane lock on the door, so things can't get through it. But there's a reason that the house has been haunted. Apparently, you've cleared this side though, because you know.
Will things come back? I mean.
No, should be fine.
Can I?
Yeah, inside check.
I mean, it's like chaos.
With all my total insight, which is really, really good. Oh shit, that's 6.
You get the sense that the bone nagger was the thing that was kind of keeping the spirits in this side of the building, at least.
Do you know like where the rift was leading to?
Not entirely sure. We did a check with some people, and they suggested it was going to the 9 house. I can't remember which plane it was, but they said it was going to the 9 house. But like we say, we've had many very powerful wizards and such put an arcane lock on it. Things can't get through. It should be fine. We haven't had any issue before I died. And apparently people have been living here since, so...
Could I point out the fact that you're an animated skull?
Yes, that was the thing I was saying about the question and answer thing. Most things that die and then stay here have an unfinished goal. I don't think that I was being held here by the bone nagger. I think I was being held here by something else.
Okay, something else that's in the 9 hells?
Like I said, the last thing I remember was protecting the house from bandits trying to rob my wife's diamond. So maybe that was. Maybe.
Well,
I mean, I suppose it could be a good receptionist when they move in.
The job's sorted. The house is done.
Just a giant rift to the hell.
I mean, that was already there.
In fairness, it's been locked off for I died. Now things are getting a bit more clear. I died about 400 years ago.
Matthias, 480.
Yes, because I'm remembering things now. This building was made. This was the home of my master. He was the lich who controlled the Tower of the Arcane.
Wait, so you're saying that your master was the evil lich that lived here.
Oh, he wasn't evil. He didn't live here either. He kind of, I say lived. He used this as a place to store his things whilst he lived in his office.
What was the lich's name?
Now that would be telling, wouldn't it?
I'd really like to know. You see, I'm a historian, particularly for Luskan, and seriously, I'll give you.
Don't want to tie names to people who I don't want. No.
Could you give me? I mean, you don't have to give me the exact name, but could you give me?
It rhymes with Viscerarak.
I'd like to do a history.
Yes, roll a history check.
Oh my God, she's gonna write something.
What would you like me to do to check if she knows what I know?
Right, let me deal with that.
Yeah,
Cool. Can I do a history check as well?
Yes,
Thank
roll a
you.
history check.
I'm on a 12.
You're on 12.
I'm on a 12 too.
12 too. Lovely. So, fairly.
Plus 6.
There are two liches that that are quite renowned in the D&D worlds. One is Vecna, who is Mr. Charisma himself, and we love him so much. And then the other one, you guys may have seen this when I've pulled the Dungeon Master's Guide, or when you look at Chris Perkins, because I swear it's based off Chris Perkins. But Serarak is like the biggest, baddest bastard in the world in terms of like liches. He has a phylactery known as the Soulmonger, which cancels out healing magics and resurrection. I can't say words today, excuse me.
Is it Soul what?
The Soulmonger. He was last seen, or at least he was...
200 years ago.
He was last seen He was last seen some 600 years ago when creating some sort of pact between the giants and the dragons of the world. Prologue monologue has been used to good effect. It's all planned!
What did you say the Soulmonger was bad for?
It's bad for
Reviving.
healing magics and revivifying or resurrection spells. Essentially, it cancels out resurrections
Ooh.
and starts to absorb the soul of anyone that is recently died.
Sorry, I'm gonna absorb that.
Fucking sweet.
If you'd like to know more, go to the Tomb of Annihilation game from Wizard of the Coast, where he's recently been reused again, and I read that book and was so excited when I saw his name come up.
Like, sweet.
Sorry.
Yep.
Would Planchett know anything about the whole giant dragon thing with reference to the artifacts?
With your 12, it rings a bell, but
that's fine.
but yeah.
That's fine.
It's common knowledge that there was a lich that used to live in that tower and was very much known for his creations of arcane artifacts and such that have both hindered and helped the free folk.
Did we discover the name of his wife, by the way?
No.
Matthias.
No, we did not.
I'd like to ask him.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that one.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll give it you now. It's just Moira.
Oh, that's a nice name.
For now.
Matthias and Moira. Anyway, and now I've got Marley and Marley.
It's Matthias and Moira.
Woo!
That's cool. Matthias, can I come, at some point, can I come and interview you?
I mean, I'm
Not
a skull.
now.
I can't really run away.
That's fine. I just thought it'd be polite.
Oh
to
no,
ask
I'm fading from this realm of his.
Can I poke him? I'm poking
Matthias
him.
is not here right now. Sorry, I'll take a message and
I
come
put
back to
like a cloth over him like you're the canary.
you. Cool.
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to check? I mean, she's pretty smart. I feel like if I managed to work it out based on my
Yeah,
performance
but I'm
in
really
previous
worried
games.
about, metagaming and stuff like
No,
that.
I'm very aware. Which is why I'm asking, what do you want me to roll? Or do you want her to go and sit down with pen and paper for a bit?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Because she will just do...
I'm going to go with make a intelligence check for me.
Can
Come on. Fuck. I can't know things that she doesn't know. 10.
So knowing what you know because we've discussed about it.
Because I went, you fucker!
She sends that text a lot.
It's how I wake up most mornings. Hi darling, 1 second, I just got a mail. Oh!
You fucker, it's really early! I'm blaming you.
I'm going to be late to work again anyway.
She's never late to work.
Never. She's
I am consistently...
on time in a different time zone.
Consistent. You're consistent. That's not good, consistent.
Doesn't matter.
That's what my boss literally said to me. He was like, I mean, you're always late, but you're always here at the same time, so I know what time you'll be in.
I'm going to say that
Very real.
with the time you've had to think and the...
We've been very busy, you know.
Yeah, the time
There's
you've
been
had
a lot
to
going
think,
on.
And because of the way you're approaching this, you recognise that those letters are indeed in Matthias's name.
Mm-hmm.
How that could just be coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, and she spotted that. Yeah, she spotted that to start off with. That's fine. We'll think about it later.
I would say you'd have to sit down and
Yeah,
think about it a bit more, a bit like a tuning. You're going to have to spend time just focusing on that thought and kind of processing to get the answer you already have.
Let's go back to the pub.
Everybody, out now!
No.
I mean, can I feel if there's any... Because I know we felt the house go...
Yes.
Can I feel if there's anything left in the house apart from the horrors leaking from the
Make
rift?
just make a Arcana check for me. 5. It feels rested. The room itself, the building itself feels kind of the atmosphere in the building seems to have shifted from a kind of tense and expecting sensation to a more just emptied house kind of. It feels like you get the sense that something has died here, but at the same time it's not anything too worrying in terms of it's that sense of when you know the history of the flat you're renting or something. Yes.
Cool. I pop Matthias back in the bag for now.
Cool.
And relay to the group that the house feels pretty fine.
So we've done our job.
Bish, bash, and...
Well, this is the house side, isn't it, I believe?
Right?
Yeah, that's what we all were
There was no entrance to the other turret when we got here. And we can't go through this door because of...
Well, let's just not.
I think it's a very safe assumption.
I think we can warn people and come back to it another day when we're ready for that sort of thing.
Well, if you got like a pen and paper, just add like an extra note saying, no, really, don't open this door.
It's quite sensible, to be fair.
Yes, fine.
It was a suggestion, you don't have to.
No, it's fine, I'll do it.
What's going to happen to Matthias if we leave?
Take up pen and paper. Alright.
No, really don't.
No, seriously. Just don't. Brackets. 9 health.
That's probably important information to share, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we could tell them as well.
So what now?
Right, so you guys are basically wrapping up and getting out?
Yeah.
Essentially?
Yeah,
Lovely.
so-
Now should do some more reading.
Oh, I'm feeling very lucky.
Oh yes, there's a lot of writing and reading for this game. Right, so cool. You guys, what?
Calm down, Satan.
Every now and then it just releases. And, I can feel. No. It hurts to remember Vincent Price. And I'm not talking about the actor. Anyway.
Oh.
Remember why Vinny was called Vinny Kyra.
Chug.
I'm not you.
We down our feelings. Anyway. So you guys come out of the building, and there are 2 guards kind of flanking the door. They immediately see that you are living, and also, just they get the sense that the building has relaxed and such like that, and they immediately inform you that you are required to report to the captain's court.
Yes, that was the plan.
Right.
That's cool. Pretty long.
They
What
start.
time of night is it?
So you met up about 7. You've been in there for about an hour and a half, so it's about 8:30, coming up to 9 o'clock.
Fantastic. Still very evening.
So you start to walk through the way, following down the paths towards the captain's court. Give me some music, thank you. And now I read some words. Standing like a gothic wonky tooth in the mouth of the River Myra, the captain's court looks out of place in the midst of the modern rebuilt city. Gargoyles swing from parapets up above, keeping away the aerial assaults that might befall the court. People bustle in and out, looking for someone to answer their worries and woes even at this late hour. Stepping inside to the central reception area, the crowds disperse into more easily to slalom around groups in a mosaic-floored, oil-painted, walled, gaudy nightmare. Ellipsis beelines through the people, heading towards the gigantic oak double doors that stand like some sort of overlord over the scene. Without announcing himself, Ellipsis steps through the door and leaves it open for the three of you. You step through into an austere courtroom with seats in rows either side of you as you enter, stretching across the floor, stretching across the far wall in a deep mahogany altar that holds 5 chairs. 4 are empty, with a large human man with beetroot red cheeks and bulbous nose. White whiskers stand stark against the merging pinks and reds that make his face. God Hand and some lackey are stood in the prosecution's place, with Ellipsis striding over to the defendant's place.
Why does this feel like a trial?
Ellipsis kind of beckons you three over, just as he notices you guys haven't followed directly over.
Mm-hmm.
And as you come in, you hear the really, Steve? Really? That's the voice? Cool. No, I can't do it. Can't do Brian Blessed for this one. No. Cool.
She chose this.
Yeah, I wrote it. It
We
says
didn't make him.
Brian Blessed voice, if possible.
You had such high expectations.
Look,
of
I'm not a
yourself.
voice actor. If Ed Spence was DMing, I would go, this is great. But there's a reason that most of my voices sound a little like this every now and then.
The second one in, I'm like really close my palm, really done,
Yeah.
like tight. It's like, nope.
Cool. So, seeing you enter the large man in the altar, the one-seated that you know to be one of the ships, one-seated ships at the court kind of stands and. Well, hello, and welcome to the captain's court. So, for our new guests, my name is Shiptolis, and I have been asked to reside over this hearing in suggestion of the. He raffles some paper around in front of him. Apparently, for God Hand, really? We're going to do that? I'm fine. So, the city guard would like to take the ruins of Alusk for a home base. Cool. We already have heard the 500 or 600 times God Hand has offered this service. So I ask you, the clearers of said ruins, what your argument would be for or against such a thing? Dr. Planchett.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
How's the tours?
They're currently on a hiatus at the moment. This kind of took over a little bit. I've learnt loads of
Apologise if we've interrupted your business.
It's turned out really well. I'm alive. I didn't think I'd
good.
be.
We don't want to do the paperwork of another dead
And
person.
I'm still trying to work on the tourism board thing.
Yeah,
I'll get that done eventually, I promise.
We'll definitely talk to you about that.
Fantastic. Great, awesome. I've got really good. I learnt so much.
Cool.
It was quite cool.
This is another conversation for another time.
Sorry. We killed things, and the house feels good.
He looks towards Ellipsis, just for clarification, who just nods.
Small caveat, there is a portal to the Nine Hells behind a locked door. But then I suppose
really
giving
well
it to the authorities does mean it will be better guarded than
We've got
the
a sign.
current arcane
There's a sign on the door saying "Don't go."
See, here's my problem. You guys have been in there recently, and I realise as I'm doing this, so Ellipsis won't be talking in this conversation because this is Ellipsis' voice. Cheers, Steve. You fucker. It's alright. We're going
Ellipsis is there drinking just lots of water. I can't talk.
So, you've been in that. How big would you be able to hold a garrison of, say, 20 to 30 men in there?
With an office space as well, like.
Yeah.
And we've got a receptionist as well.
And what?
Matthias?
Ixnay on the Matthias me.
No, you don't have a receptionist.
I'm not even going to try and sneak it.
So much eye rolling.
I'm assuming there was some sort of ghost that's evil. I'm not going to question it. I just need to know the facts so we can put forward the vote.
It's not a school.
My suggestion, Dr.
God.
Planchett.
How are all of your characters I wait 5 seconds level of intelligence?
Dr. Planchett.
Have you met Kyra?
I can't help it, again. I don't understand. You're just so smart.
But there was a lot of ghosts in there. We've not seen them since we quashed what we thought was like a giant cobra thing.
Okay.
Like a naga. And then since then we felt nothing in there as well.
So we can clear for one. That's good. And he scratches off something on the paper in front of him. Craven is not the reason the building was haunted.
No.
Brilliant. Okay. Now here's my thing. I'm quite happy to keep the city guard in Winter's Palace. It's it's large. It's built to purpose almost. And also, if we want to build the city guard, which I think we would if we would... all this is saying to Godhand. If we want to build the city guard, then obviously we want to, we want to have space for you to grow. So putting you in the ruins of Elis would be a bad idea. However, it is, as you have pointed out several times, the entrance to Dragon Beach, which we don't want the public going through, so having the city guard blocking it would be...
Turn it into a museum.
Surely that would just
That would
invite...
encourage the public to go
But
in.
they'd go in, but only so far.
Would they...
Do you remember when I first met you and I would instantly touch the door I wasn't going to touch?
Yes.
I am all the public. All of them.
Godhand kind of clears his throat. Yes, I know that this is a conundrum that I'm not too sure how to answer myself. However, I think that it is best suited that the city guard is based from this area, as you have said, and as I have pointed out, that it is the entrance to the Dragon Beach. So we do not want people haranguing around that area. But at the same time, if we were to build, maybe we could have both as guard quarter.
Just put a garrison in it anyway, like as a training room.
Outpost.
Aye.
Inside.
We have a better idea. This is Tolas kind of sits down and sits back in his chair at this point. We've had a talk about this a couple of times, and I think I've come to something that might. Are you for looking to stay around in Luskan for a while, or?
Like, she lives there.
I need to speak to a friend. I can't give you a direct answer.
Right.
now.
Well, here's a suggestion that we've discussed before. If contractors were to come in and clear the room, so to speak, for the ruins of Alesk, would they not be more suited to look after the city from the undead than, and this time he's kind of turning with quite daggered eyes towards Godhand, than the city guard who have failed us for about 10 or so years? To which Godhand kind of cowers and bows his head.
Does anyone else feel quite awkward at the moment?
I am slightly baffled as to how an entire city guard were unable to defeat a bone nugger, and we were. I'll be quite honest.
I'm gonna stay out of this, I think.
To be fair, they didn't have a giant monstrosity like a made of like brass and iron. Punched it in the face.
Ellipsis kind of leans down towards you as well, Hororae goes, remember that most of the city guard are just, without being offensive, commoners. There are certain lines of business that we choose to go into, and commoners like to farm and look after where they live. They don't want to go fight a demigod. I'm
Understandable.
not saying that they've gone in to fight. That's a bone nagger. It's not going to be anything worth. But at the same time,
The rumours alone.
yeah, the rumours alone.
What level of undead are you speaking of?
Tyler's kind of leads forward. Well, we're not too sure. We've seen dead wyverns coming out across every now and then. It's every few years. It's not anything. Normally around autumn. That's something that I recently have discussed with myself because I've realised we've never done calendars and such. So we can clear this up, and so you have a rough idea. We don't follow the 10-day rule of a week. We follow the 7-day rule of a week, and there are no months. There are 90 days each turn of season, so they are known as spring, summer, autumn, and winter.
Okay.
Each have 90 days each, and they are each day is known by certain gods. So Moon's Day, Tyr's Day, Woden's Day, Thor's Day, that sort of thing. You know, where some smart people probably got a Gregorian calendar from once upon a time.
That's very nice.
Just so that clears up for the table, because we've never actually discussed calendar and such, but also so you guys can know as well.
Do they have... No.
So when the way that I've always referred to things is like when we were talking in campaign 1, where I'll go, you guys have been at this for a month. That's to give you guys context in terms of a time span that you know, but it kind of follows a similar sort of thing in this world anyway.
Yeah. So whereabouts are we? Are we coming up to autumn?
So you are on the cusp of autumn and winter. It's about 85 days into autumn. So yes. And they are known as, although you'd go, it's Moon's Day, Tyr's Day, that sort of thing, it's known as the 83rd day of autumn, the 25th day of winter sort of thing.
Cool.
So have you had like any undead wyverns recently?
We had one or two come out 2-3 weeks ago.
Specifically from the house?
Well, like I say, it's coming from Dragon's Beach and through the house. We thought that the house was being haunted and that was being dragging other spirits out from the seas. But the City Guard have done their best. There was a reason that we are now 30 to 40 rather than the 80 we started the month with, or the season with.
We want someone going into Dragon's Beach and sorting it from the source.
It's something that you would probably have to wait for autumn again.
Sorry. How much of this would have Planchett have heard about? Or is it being kept quite down there?
You know that the City Guard prepare at the beginning of autumn for attacks to come through the archway. So they put a lot more walks and such like that around that area. It normally is like once or twice over the season that it happens, but it's rarely in daytime, so most people are asleep whilst it's happening, and it's rarely kind of noted upon that the creatures have been taken away before the public are awake again, sort of thing.
That's cool. Would she have known about the death toll?
The death toll.
So going down from like 80.
Yes, you would. You
cool.
would know that there's been a sizable drop in City Guard. So here's what I'm thinking, or at least if you 5. Is that a person in
a construct?
Ah, right, cool. Would you 4 or 5 of you be willing to garrison yourselves in the ruins of Aluska's, let's say, residential heroes of Luskan, for want of a better word?
And have like constant access to dead, dying and undead things?
Basically, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
What's the travel perks like?
Sorry,
Travel.
the travel perks.
Yeah.
You get an oyster card.
So
I just say it's like, is it all
at this point,
as
as you guys are saying this, Godhand like audibly kind of slams his book closed, starts packing up, and like stares daggers at you as he just walks out, as if the meeting is adjourned already. And you turn back to see Tolas, just a small smile crawling across his face, Well, what I'm suggesting in terms of this is basically a base of operations for you guys to come out of. It would mean that you guys could look after our city in autumn, but at the same time we can kind of boast to the wider community, such as Mirabar and Neverwinter, that we have our own kind of group of adventurers who can do daring do and all that sort of nonsense that they write about.
Do we get salaried then?
Well, the salary would be the building. You get the perks of owning the building for a year, and then when we come to the end of the year, if it's something that we can afford to keep, or if it's something that you want to buy from us, we could sort that sort of thing.
Does it come included in the food?
We would offer in-house staff, so cleaner and cook.
It's better than living in inns.
I'd like to.
Do you have a particular passion to stay around here?
So pretty much a limitless supply of dead and
Ellipsis kind of closes throat at this point. Is, I know we keep saying 4 or 5. I'm freelance contractor for hire.
Do you want to freelance with us?
as a hula girl comes in.
It's free board, apparently.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I've got to get back to... We don't really have a base of operations. We have a place that we meet thing. I'll explain later. And he kind of turns back to tell us, I'm happy to every now and then be called upon if the city needs. I mean, you called upon me last week. That's why I'm here now. But yeah, I've got. Did I leave the kettle on, or and this kind of stoic creature that you've met and spent the last few hours with has suddenly become this bumbling mess of kind of like, anyway. And Tyler's just going, well, you 3 then, or 4, sorry. Would you?
I mean, I've got shit to look for.
I've got 1 yes, I've got 1 maybe, and I've got 1 kind of no from what I can hear.
Can I quickly check in?
Yes.
And I'm going to back off again, pull the locket out and be like, boss, did you hear that? Do you think it's a good idea?
Please tell me again, you just take 1 step back.
Everyone else is watching you as you go to the back of the room. You have your back to the rest of the room, so you're stood in the corner, you start speaking into it, whispering, you hear nothing back. I'm not suggesting that you guys have to live here permanently. I'm suggesting it's a base of operations that we can boast about, essentially. So if Luskan needs you, we can say we have some, with the greatest respect to the city guard, obviously, we can have a bit more. Anymore. I mean, I know that it was very polite of them to leave, but he's asked about this 10 times, so fuck it. What I'm suggesting is, if we need you, we can call you, and you're a bit more beefier than your average commoner with a sword.
So we can keep doing what we want, and we can leave when we want.
Yeah,
but we come back.
You're not prisoners of Luskan. You are guests of Luskan.
In that sense, I'm not averse then, I suppose.
Yeah, Ellipsis as well. Kind of goes, well, if I'm not having to, also, yeah, cool. I don't. We and starts just to all of you go, we're not a thing, kind of.
I mean...
We're roomies now.
I mean, don't cross that ever again.
What? I mean, that's a deterrent if it was.
What?
Yeah.
I'm a great roomie.
I'm starting to get more and more the problem with the doctor for some reason, so, yeah.
I'm tidy.
Cool. I just like to be on the open road a lot more than
I'm looking for shit, so...
Okay.
Suck your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll ask this out of game. Would you like the base of operations of the Ruins of Alusk?
Yeah, free
Why the
food.
fuck
Yeah.
not?
Free food.
I mean, as a base operations to piss about from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So, Tolus kind of asks in game, goes, so can I have the verdict on this? All those in favour, you all raise your hand, apart from Ellipsis, who just kind of stands, kind of looking around, looking kind of a bit sheepish. Tyler's just kind of grins, slams his hammer down. All in favour? Lovely. Thank you very much for your services to the city, and we look forward to working with you further. We will, if you're happy for us to do this, we'll spend this evening gearing the building out to be more suitable for your needs and such like that. It might actually, could you return to us tomorrow evening? We'll have the building renovated and such like that, so it's more fitted to your style. I realise there's only like 1 or 2 bedrooms in that building and such like that, so we'll get it geared up to your requirements. If you'd like to leave any suggestions, just leave a chitty on the desk there before you leave, and we'll get that accommodated for you, hopefully in the rooms. That's this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much for your time. And he just kind of stands, bows to you, and then leaves down a side door that's just behind the altar that he stood on.
Right, in the meantime, drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna, as he leaves, just go, better.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know that they don't mind that sort of thing up here at the moment. It's Mirabar, you don't want to go in with that sort of thing.
Sweet.
What sort of thing?
Just show her a massive gash along my arm.
He shows you the palm, you see the gash across it. You recognise this to be blood magic. Yeah, Mirabar still, for some reason, never really worked out why, doesn't like necrotic magic or undead. I get the undead bit, but the blood magic and stuff like that seems to... It's funny, they have their own blood mages as part of the guard, though. But anyway,
Classic Mirabar
Pub.
gammon.
Seven Sails,
Yes. I write shelves and a desk on the
shelves
thing.
and a desk.
Right. As full a library as possible.
Full library as possible.
I write 2 votes under that.
Okay.
A third.
We want a library.
I just put be careful clearing out the dungeon. Because people died there, not because I want the
That's
material.
Okay.
Well, I will.
Cool. So for next session, you will be receiving, because obviously of times and such like that, for next session you will be receiving a blueprint of your base of operation.
Swish.
That is cool.
And you'll be able to map out, you'll receive it before the session, sorry, I'll send it to you over the week, and you'll be able to map out what sort of things you want there, so library in this room, and I will do my best to kind of like clarify which ones you'll get and such like that. And then we'll have you move in next session.
Yay!
But that'll be fun. Lovely.
I feel like I've got me.
Is there anything that you guys would like to do briefly before going to the pub? Because we'll pick up, if you want to have like chats and stuff at the pub after the break.
Happy to beeline to the pub.
Yeah.
I think we all deserve a drink.
Lovely. Nothing that anyone wants to quickly do before we go. That's good for me.
We promised money for clearing this.
You are
Yeah.
indeed.
Good point.
You are indeed. Don't worry, that will be sorted.
Yeah.
I was imagining it'll be in the house tomorrow.
So, you
Oh my God,
guys.
maybe I've got the fit.
We promised 1,000 gold.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys head out of the building. Dr. Planchett leading you towards the Seven Sails, where we will pick up after the break, discussing other things and possibly if there's discussions you guys want to have, and if not, we'll move on to the next part of the session.
Fantastic.
Sweet.
So we got chats to have.
Just
Chats to have.
It's been a lovely start of the session. Very fun.
Yeah.
You have a base of operation
Yes.
so early into the game.
writing desk.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. So it's 27 minutes past now. Come back for about we'll go 1:45. We'll come back for 1:45. So just in case there's anything I need to do with these guys in the meantime. Lovely. Bye bye. Whoa, whoa, hello, hi. Didn't hear you come in or I'd be wearing much more towel. Hi, my name is Grimnir Singebeard. You may recognise me from the Alignment Unknown podcast, or the shower I've just came out of. Either way, so I'm guessing this is when we're recording now, guys? Brilliant. Okay, well, the writers of the podcast have asked me to do a brief announcement to tell you, the listeners and viewers of our podcast last stream, that we're going to be doing a live day of gaming. Saturday the 15th of June, you can come along at 2:30 p.m. and learn to play D&D. You can come along at 7:30 in the evening if you like and just watch it. Then we'll be teaming up with Modified Roll. They'll be brilliant. Either way, yeah, Saturday 15th of June, 2 o'clock or 7:30. You can buy a ticket for each of those events at £10 a ticket for standard or £8 for concessionary. If you'd like to get a day pass, which covers both of them, you're going at £18 for a standard or £16 for concessionary day pass. Either way, go to their website and buy a ticket. Otherwise, I may have to get reckless. I don't sound threatening when I'm just in a towel, do I? Fine. Go to the website! Webcam!
Ready.
Ooh. Right, we're back. Hello, we're back. Oh, I don't need to hit the... Ooh. Must needs it sometimes. Hello, welcome back. We're... These guys have just been levelling up. How are you guys doing over there?
I'm doing good. I'm
Less
feeling
I've done it all right.
Less swishy.
Less squishy.
Lovely. So you're aware we're not running a milestone thing. I will be giving XP, but earlier levels, literally one fight seems to move you to the next level, and then it's only around level 4, level 5 where it starts to go, I need to do 5 or 6 battles, I need to get a good thing where the XP reward comes back. Which reminds me, Klaxis, you have 50 XP on top of you, so you should all be at 900 now.
Okay.
So you should be at 950.
May I ask for why?
Because I had a note in my... when I was going over the session notes for session 1 and putting it on the Patreon, you can get... you found the stairwell for the without like coercion or me going keep looking over there. I don't know. Yeah, you just found it on your own accord, sort of thing. But yes, so you got 50 XP for that. Well done. Anywho, so if I tell you to jump, just remember you have 50 XP on top of everything. Lovely. And if anyone else gets that at some point where you have like XP that's over, if I tell you jump to level 9, make a note that you have 150 XP or whatever.
Yep.
As like side. Anyway.
Not gonna hold my breath though.
Cool. So, put the music back on. You guys, we said we were going to pick up back as you guys get to the pub, weren't we? So you guys head out into... You guys head over to the Seven Sails pub. Coming through the door, you see that there are several like areas in the main tavern area that's downstairs. You look up and you can see there is a second floor where people are seated with like an open skylight type thing in the middle, so that the seating goes around the wall on the second level, a bit like your average 2-story Wetherspoons. Setting the tone now.
I'm picturing the one. What's the one that's in the middle of the market? Oh yeah.
So you have certain areas which are slightly raised in the corners of the room. The bar stretches along the far northern wall of the like downstairs area. There is apparently a small hatch at the top where there is ability to serve upstairs.
Important question. What's the carpet look like?
Wait a minute, remind me what time of the evening it is, because you can see the carpet at the moment.
It's sawdust.
No, there is no carpet. There is just wood floor, which has been varnished in a dark kind of brown.
So the history there is over. Ooh, hardwood.
I'd like to touch it. It's a bit sticky.
That's the innuendo of the day right there.
See if you can find it on Adam and Steve's Innuendo Week. I can't name things quickly, leave me alone. Look at all the NPCs you've ever played, Steve. Anyway, you see behind the bar there is a blue guy with white hair and he keeps walking in alleys. No.
That makes me want to twitch inside so bad.
No, for you, my dear, behind the bar, there is a pale man. Hair slicked back, black, perfect moustache. Not wearing a t-shirt for some reason, not wearing a top at all.
I wondered where that was
He
going.
died in a pit of fucking spiders.
No, he didn't. And also, this is my game. I'm the DM.
Oh, can I guess his name? Oh, is it Plunto?
Oh.
No, close.
I'm not going to say your ends.
Well, it wouldn't be wrong.
At the bar, you see a man with a large kind of black fluffy hair and quite thin as well. There's a blonde man sat next to him, quite short haired and a goatee. And you can't seem to find the bassist because nobody can find him since the 90s. Anyway. John Deacon. Is he dead now?
No.
He's just smart.
Yeah, smart. He always was tired.
Anyway. Yes, there are a couple of people milling around. It's not exactly busy, but there are a few tables full of your average patron of kind of humans, men and women. Drow seem to have come out as the sun has set. So there's a couple of Drow people sat around as well. What would you guys like to do?
Pull up a table.
Cool. Go to a table.
Swish.
Flagon of wine.
Cool.
I'm sharing it.
Oh, I see.
I will partake in that. I'm also going to take out my notebook and I'm scribbling to myself.
I've been the same thing in my...
Well, yeah, I've got my own notebook.
My brand. Oh,
Cool.
Let's journaling together.
As all three of you sit down and start journaling, Ellipsis just kind of sits staring at the three of you and go, I'll get the round then, and then gets up and walks towards the bar.
She said that she got one.
No, you said you got a flagon of ale, but you didn't say you'd gone to the bar or that you a flagon of... You said that you sat down and started note-taking. You said that you wanted a flagon of wine.
That is true. I was just going with the flow.
No, that's fine. Ellipsis goes off and comes back with 2 flagons of wine and places it on the table, and then looks to you, Klaxis, and goes, sorry, what do you want wine? Do you...
Well, I'll have wine, yeah.
Cool. There is a bottle of scotch coming as well.
Wait, I'm sorry, what now?
There's a bottle of scotch coming.
Sweet, I'll have wine later. Because the man brought the scotch and...
More for us then?
I think they'll find I said I'll have the wine later.
I love that you're assuming that I don't want the scotch as well.
Oh, more for me then.
Sexist and racist.
I didn't mean to assume. It's just you said you would join her on the wine.
I will.
All right. You're more than welcome to join on the.
Mix it.
There's a bottle.
Cocktail.
There's going to be a bottle. I've paid at least 10 gold. I'm hoping at least one of us will enjoy it.
You're not having any yourself?
I'll be joining you with the scotch.
Oh, that's grand.
Thank you for the wine.
You're welcome. So you guys sit down, you start scribbling. Is there anything that anyone would like to discuss with their scribblings? Because I know what yours is going to be, but is there anything that you guys want to do, or you just have a general chat sort of thing at this point?
I want to know where everybody's from and all their backgrounds.
Cool. So we'll get that quickly. We'll get Hannah's thing out of the way, and then we can do RP and stuff. If there's anything else that anyone wants to do,
I was going to chat about what she was writing, but that can wait.
No, that's fine. We'll quickly get it out of the way, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. So we'll get the mechanics out of the way, and then the RP comes after. Right, make an intelligence check with me.
That's much better! Straight intelligence, that is 22.
So you know that all the letters
I know
are
the
in
thing that I know now.
I'm going to say that you know that there's a brief
I've sat
clicking
and
in
I've
your mind,
rearranged the letters.
and I will let you sit back and say the word if you really want to.
No, I'm not going
No,
to.
that's fine. But I'm going to say that you take the letters out, you then look at the selection of letters you've got left, they click together in such a way that you go, oh, that is very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what you have.
Thank you.
However, the AC has just gone up because that was basically metagaming.
No, I know. Well, no. In game,
No, it's fine.
it was.
It's
So
fine.
I
No,
was
it's
just.
fine.
I'm not trying to
No,
do
no,
that.
no, 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 no.
I'm
I
not
know.
trying.
I'm just teasing. The AC doesn't need to go up.
It's already high enough.
For those following Riddle Tuesdays that we're going to start at some point. Yeah.
I'm not saying it out loud only because I know that Hororae wouldn't.
Yeah,
So-
that's cool.
I
So,
really hate Hororae right now.
so
It's for your own
the
protection.
four of you,
Dale.
the
It's for
four
your
of you are
own
sat,
protection.
5 of you, because Pivot is all there. A bottle of scotch is brought over, placed in front of
I
you.
love the
Apparently,
idea that Pivot sat there with the clown.
Just-
Just like,
I don't understand. Why is there? Is this Robin Williams in Bicentennial Man? Why will you not leave my heart alone tonight?
Oh, I think I've...
have you
Am
worked
I
out? Have you worked out?
Oh, I've got one answer.
There's only one.
Yeah.
There's
Cool.
only one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
the one there? Well, there is only one because I'm so fucking like, what?
The quickening!
Ignore the TV show quickly. Anyway.
Very good. Cool. Cool.
So what are you guys discussing and such at the table?
Well, didn't you want to chat?
So what brings you guys
Oh,
here?
yeah. Fuck, was that question?
Yeah. I understand we all kind of got thrown into it.
Oh, well, you look at that. The scotch is here.
And
Starts
we
drinking.
Talk
Thank
between
you.
steps. She can't. You can't.
Chucks it back.
No. Why would you do that? My first watch is
It's only a 5-year, it's fine.
Alright, so
Yes.
right, so I'm from like fire shear.
Ooh.
Just up north a little bit.
Well, why did you come down here?
Because I'm looking for something.
Ooh, what are you looking for?
I don't miss questions, calm down.
I'm just
I'm
curious.
just like, just looking for stuff, just like knowledge and whatnot.
I do like
On
to know
what?
things.
I get out my notebook with the ravens, like, queen head on it. Like, raisin queen stuff. Look, it's the one like constant, is what does everything that lives, like, regardless of the type of life it is, what's it all got in common?
Poverty.
I mean,
It's
that's not true at all. Like, that's
There's poverty
So-
of the soul.
Sorry,
as well.
I knew where you were going.
poverty of the soul.
I mean,
You've
that's...
met some of these rich people.
Poverty of the Soul sounds like a wanky memoir by some sort of bard.
Tracy Emin. She lives in Edinburgh. She built a bed made of bricks. like no, because it's the one thing that everyone's got in common, regardless of like race, species, wealth. And if you don't understand what it is or what it's for, you're not prepared for it. Eventually comes what you.
So you're just looking to be prepared.
Oh, and to know as much as I can about it, and to help people across it who need help.
It's a big
Fairly
topic.
honourable.
It's a big topic, yeah, but it keeps you busy.
So you're not trying to avoid, extend.
Well, no, why? I got my point to the raising. Right.
It's
You're right.
because-
You're like, that kind of goes against the whole idea of it, is it?
So,
When it happens, it happens. That is.
Just checking we don't have an aspiring lich in
Oh,
our
good
midst.
Christ, no. That's like when it happens, and it is time. Anyone who is
I'm not sure this is much better.
anyone who's proud enough to insist their life keeps going past the point it's meant to stop is going against nature and what's normal. That's you can fight all your way, but when your time comes, that is your time. It's time for you to stop. That's your time to move on to the next adventure.
you're much deeper than you first come across us.
Scotch.
That.
As Ellipsis just turns, drinking another.
As he's going.
I see you're drinking again. Hororae.
Classic.
Ooh.
Knowledge is also what I'm after. I was looking for the codex and sadly disappointed before I came to Luskan, so that's what I'm looking for.
Which codex?
The codex?
Sounds very final.
Why do you need the codex? It's the font of all knowledge. If I'm going to find out what I want, that will be where...
What is it you're looking for? What do you want to know that you can't just find by living?
I mean, I can try that, but this would be infinitely quicker.
Touché.
Yeah.
So as it turns out, it looks like I'm doing things the long way round.
Well, you can do both.
You're looking for the codex.
Yes.
Yeah, they've gone for they've gone for a journey. I don't know what they call it. They blink out of existence in and out of planes every now and then. They've gone to an ulterior plane at the moment. I don't know how they never get for. They don't really.
When they've done this before, are they likely to appear in the same place?
Yeah, that Raven Rock is the place that they land.
Do they often go to one of their planes on the Seven Hells or anything like
They've been known to move.
The 9 hells.
that? 2 of them are crap.
We don't talk about this. They've blinked. They have a location in each plane of existence in this cosmology, for want of a better word, and then they have a place of existence in other cosmologies as well. So, if you look at the world in, sorry to get all sciencey on you, I know boring, but if you look at the world like a donut, there is essentially there's some people who suggest that we are a box of donuts.
Sounds tasty.
Each cosmology sits.
Like you're saying, you're taking the long way around, but where you're based currently, you can access them all hells, right?
They've gone different, not playing in this place, they've gone different, so they've jumped to a different donut.
Oh, I see.
Rather than they're in a different sprinkle on the
So
same
I would have
donut.
to wait for them to come back. Or...
They never really left it. Calling glad.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Like, what are you actually trying to learn on the read from the codex? If that's not too personal a question.
I'd like to know.
I'm sure you would.
So, I'm not obviously getting notes.
Speaking of notes, what are you designing there?
I was very aware in that attic that I'm lacking in something, particularly dark vision. I've got an idea as to how I might remedy that. And I've got, a few ideas buzzing around.
Interesting. I look forward to seeing what happens. If I'm around, obviously. I'm not planning to be here long.
Yes, you said Night of the Cognition.
Yeah, that's something that you might be interested in, realising you're looking for the codex. I'm going to speak with... what to call him? I'm going to speak with the gentleman that looks after the place whilst they're gone. Fairly shortly, possibly in the morning, possibly tonight, depending on how long the evening takes. I don't know. He may have some answers for you too. He's an arsehole at the best of times. So,
Would I recognise who we might be talking about?
Make a history check for me. See if you know about this.
Probably not. 16.
16. You know that the Knights of Cognition are a branch of the Codex. Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's what I fixate branch to really.
Yes, ellipsis Koresh. Husband. That we're going to Waco at one point.
That's the snip member. It's a fort.
No.
You've just planned that, haven't you?
No, I've just got an idea of like a guy with scraggly hair and he's got a weird tattoo on his head, and there's another one who has glasses and a lisp. Anyway, I really want you to drink his new juice that he's made.
I can tell I'm in Hororae mode because I'm getting impatient.
Absolutely.
I'm going, and breathe, Hannah, it's a character.
Cool. So, you know that they are led by, although paladins draw power from religious people, there is a suggestion that religion is just a concept of belief, which is quite fitting when you think about it, where your previous character went from.
Mm-hmm.
There is an ancient silver dragon that lives under Raven Rock, which is the caretaker, if you will, but also their deity of choice, known as the Verilon. If you'd like to spell it.
Yes, please.
Xether. Zeferelon. So Xetherelon.
Thank you.
Please tell me it's a Doctor Who character. I can see you in the corner of my eye.
No, but it's 24 in Scrabble.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome
The
now,
useless
guys.
knowledge in your mind is infinite.
So yes, so you know that he's talking about the silver dragon that lives underneath the Raven Rock.
What about you, Prof? What are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, well, it's my home. I want to go outside, but it's scary outside. And yeah. So I'm working on it. Hence the ghosts. Yeah?
Wait, what?
Well, we did the ghost house thing.
Well,
and
I think, like, we did the ghost house thing and you...
I hit it and killed it. Again.
9.
Yes. That literally happened. You can't take that from me just because I'm a bit of a wuss.
I don't know that wuss is perhaps what I'd go for, given you have a very interesting relationship with a piece of jewellery.
That's a point, because we
Yeah.
we've all noticed that quite a lot. You
I
kind
mean, I've done it a couple of times.
Care to elaborate, or is it
Is it-
getting too personal for
because
you now?
if we're living in a house together, which we have now, like the Brady Bunch,
Well, I suppose, you've told me things, I should tell you things. We're going to be roomies after all.
I mean, again, please refrain from calling us that.
So, I got sent this necklace, and I put the necklace on, and I got chatting to this guy. He's a little bit stuck, and he said, "Do you want to see the world?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, I want to see the world, but I can't see the world, so I need a tour guide." And then I became a tour guide, but I don't have any money to actually get out of Luskin.
Sorry, so
I'm really scared. What?
Gentleman in the necklace.
In the locker.
Kind of, we're connected by it. I'm really scared.
Is the necklace on show right now, or have you got it hidden?
It's probably still hidden, but I'm still pointing at it. So yeah, he's like my boss. He pays me in
Wait,
power.
What?
What?
Like he pays you in power?
Well, he's a little bit stuck apparently, and he doesn't actually have any assets that are liquidated to pay me with. So he's paying me with power, which is what I kind of need.
Doctor,
Yes.
name of friend.
Oh, he called himself I usually call him boss.
Name
Le-
he gave.
Levy. I think it was Levy, something like that.
Do I recognise
What?
I mean, I'm just going to look at him and go.
it? Yeah, either way I'm going.
I mean, what the actual flying fuck? Why are you
You
trying to
alright? What's up? It's really nice.
Why?
I take the ball from him and go, "Hey, you don't get any more of this, like, until you tell us what the fuck you
I
will."
don't think I was going to get any more of that until...
Fine, I will force feed you this until you tell us.
Oh dear. May I look at that necklace just to confirm a suspicion?
Can I insight check him?
You can indeed.
Do I recognise the name?
Oh, good lord.
Make a history check.
That's
No.
17.
17?
10.
He looks pissed. But more in a, not at you, but in a, you know that look that your parent gives you when they know you've done something stupid? Which I'm asking you, do you know that look?
I know, it gives it a real fucking time.
Oh, Kyra. You're getting that look from him.
No, she's got the "you fucking stupid" look.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that one.
I mean, you're getting that. Even knowing that she doesn't know quite the extent of shit that you're in, you're getting a similar look from Hororae as well.
I'm just like, fuck it.
May I look at the necklace? All I want to do is or I don't have to look at it. May I ask, is there a sigil on it, or a crest that looks like a block with a blade going through the top of it?
What is it? Yes.
That's the word.
Do I recognise the sigil?
I feel like
that's come up once already.
What was your
It was a 10.
10, no. If you were to say yes, I would ask you, how much have you given him already? And what has he given you in return?
Well, I've only given him a tour of Luskin, so not that much. And he's given me, I've got a few, little powery things. Just a few spells. It makes me a little bit tougher, which is nice. I mean, it's a little bit scary around here. Even now, being a tiefling, it could be a bit what?
What sort of spells, could you like this? And I get out a roll of paper. It's not a cigarette. It just looks like it. Don't smoke. Could you like that?
Like that?
Aye.
Have a go.
Before we start throwing spells around in a public house, let's
Can I poke him with Mage Hand?
poke ellipsis with Fejo.
Just very gently in the cheek.
Yep.
I can do that.
Just for sakes of sakes, remind us all what he has asked you for.
Oh, he wants a tour of Faerun.
He wants a...
Well, he's quite a private person, which I totally respect. And he does pay me, which is also really nice. But basically, I put it on. He said he's a bit stuck at the moment, but he really likes seeing the world. But he can't really go for a travel.
Ellipsis care to share with the group?
I'm more than happy to once the academic has stopped waffling.
I mean, I'm quite happy just to do one more thing. I get Matthias out and go, hey, Matthias.
Yep.
Hello, chap. People living inside, like, lockets.
Oh, it's not inside the locket. We're just talking through the locket.
Living inside that's
Well,
normally
like-
known as a soul gem sort of thing. That sort of thing can be done. It's more a lich power sort of thing. But
I'm sorry, what now?
liches normally trap souls in gems so they can...
Oh, it's not like a trapped in a gem. Like, just... Can we just have a look at the locket briefly, just so the skeleton...
I pull it out just like...
Ah! Sending stone.
Cheers, chap. Do you want a drink?
No, thank you.
I'm so... do you want to pour whiskey on?
Whew. It leaves a strange burning sensation afterwards.
Oh, no, I'm going to leave them on the table, just because it's nice to have more people perceive his voice. And also, I feel genuinely bad every time I put them back.
Oh.
Like, really bad, because like, all you can see is like, oh, it's dark again.
Wow, you've got a lot of porn in here.
Shut the fuck up.
Why are they all raven women?
I mean, a man's got a hobby.
So,
Nothing.
to go with, I'm assuming, Levy. Anyone ever been to Stygia?
I know what? Stygia?
Stygia, playing in the Nine Hells.
Home
Never
of the
been
Abyss.
personally.
Not Home of the Abyss, no. Home of the River Styx. And the city that the DM couldn't remember last campaign of Tamplin.
Right, so hang on, what? You're saying that she's like in communication with someone in the Nine Hells?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm saying
we
that
didn't
she's...
discriminate.
I'm saying she's in contact with the lord of that plane.
I mean, saying what now?
So Levistus, or Levy, as he's so cutely named himself, apparently.
He seems
Has
really nice.
Has he appeared to you, or is he just voice?
Just voice, I think.
Okay, good. That's better. That means he's not as... So, for a brief history lesson for yourselves, and also use it wisely, Doctor. Levistus is the leader, or the domineering figure of Stygia. He once tried to take over the whole of the Nine Hells from Asmodeus. May have got caught because he was a bit pig-headed, so was frozen in a block of ice in the middle of Stygia, just peeking over the top of the mountain, looking down on the city that once he ruled. He still technically rules.
I mean, he's good at talking.
He's very good at talking. There's a
He
reason.
seems like... Look, I can see you're a little bit upset about this.
It's not me. I wish it was me because I could work on it. But I don't know. It's not my place to explain. You choose your own mistakes, and I will probably be around to deal with the aftermath at one point.
Oh, there won't be an aftermath. I'm just a tour
There
guide.
will be an aftermath. There's always an aftermath with you bloody warlocks.
What?
You're a warlock, dear.
Oh.
Where do you think you're getting the power from?
It's just payment for the tour.
And a bloody bad one at the moment, as we've seen. Just to finish the reference.
What? You weren't on my tour. I will have you know.
I wasn't on your tour, but I was sat in an attic watching the three of us kill something whilst you stood at the back.
I hit it with something.
Sorry, I
I
can't...
think it was green.
One second. I've learnt many languages over the
That
years.
moment where you
And I know this is a terrible childish joke, but I've learnt Common, I've learnt Celestial, I've learnt Elvish, I've learnt Draconic. Never been able to speak to chickens.
That might be true, but it was entirely uncalled for. I thank you for my wine. I pour myself a really big glass.
I'm just going to go, right, that was pretty swish, good chat. You two.
What? I don't think that was a good chat.
Just thanks for all the information, and I'm genuinely scared of you and your locket.
What? What's wrong? I'm just a tour guide. Like, it's gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna go wrong. I just tour. He gives me power. It's fine. Like, seriously, it's cool. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like being called a chicken. It's a little bit mean. A bit playground. I think I'm...
Sorry, I should have called you an Aarakocra. That feels a little bit more...
Do I know what...
An Aarakocra is a bird person.
I mean, it's a good nickname. It's better than
It
Prof.
sounds clever. Well, I like Prof. I've worked for it.
Like, scary.
What? Don't call me scary.
Not
I'm
you.
quite nice.
Hororae is quite a mouthful, and horror and scary are pretty much similar words.
Fair.
I mean, if I'm making nicknames, I'm making everyone one. Like, scary. So, what are you, like, because you're constantly, like, writing in that book, like, what do you study? You can't just made him, like, look, like, out of luck. This giant, scary, quite fluffy looking, made of man of steel.
I study time.
What, you look at a clock?
It's not studying time. It's counting it, marking it, measuring it.
Hang on.
So, like...
Oh, your parents. That's mean. This is coming from the guy called Ellipsis, I know, I'm sorry. Horologist?
Yes.
Lovely. Again, I'm just gonna drink.
You and me both, sir.
What's a horologist?
I mean, she's just explained.
I
My
mean,
father was a watchmaker. Horologists study and measure time. He claimed himself to be a horologist. I grew up in his shop learning how to make clocks, and quite frankly, it's very unsatisfactory.
Right, so what are you doing, like...
Because there has to be more to it.
Right.
If he claims to be somebody who is trying to study time, why is all he doing is just counting it? That's not a study, that's marking. You're just as well scratching into a wall.
You don't want to
Very
speak to the
specific.
codex then, because that's all they do. They just chronicle what has happened. They know how to play with time, but they don't understand that as much.
But I can at least learn what they know. and
No,
it's
just...
far better off than I am at the moment.
What have you learned so far, then?
Not as much as I would like.
Well, clockwork seems to be working well for you.
A
Does-
lifetime of craft.
Does he talk? Is...
Oh, please tell me he talks.
Not yet. I'm working on it, but not yet.
That'd be impressive.
Well, if you need a voice coach, I'm quite happy to give it a bash.
I think I'll be quite alright.
Why is Billy Connolly now playing
Don't
the...
you fucking dare!
I'd like to attack him with an unarmed attack,
Before I attack you, let me tell you a story about the time my sister got scared in the middle of an alley.
I'd like to talk about Jobies. Right, so that's good. Oh, that's fine.
Let me get my banjo out and play Needle of Fame.
I mean, that's quite impressive, like, because it's quite linked with death, I suppose, like time.
I'm not going to pretend that that's bluntly the reason I followed you.
I thought it was my beguiling charm. Drinks.
No.
Drinks. Instantly drinks. It's fine, don't worry. It's my long hair and my beard, that's what did it.
But it turns out you're just exactly the same as my father. All you want to do is watch.
Well, you can't do much more with death. You pass people on, that's the point. You don't watch and let them struggle. You don't want people to be trapped, get out, just like point at Matthias. That's not life and that's not death. That's arguably worse than both.
I don't disagree with
It's
you.
not. I'm not just watching them struggle. I'm aiming to help them move across and like study it. You can't just watch death happen and not learn from it, because the whole point of like watching it is to take notes and see what's happening and try and develop what you're doing.
May I make a somewhat I can't think of the word, somewhat uneducated and simple experiment to kind of point out something a little against your argument, sir?
Right.
Hororae, do you mind if I punch Pivot?
By all means.
Just stands up, slams into the middle of the chest with his fist. You know that the metal you use is very sturdy, but you notice it kind of bend in a bit and then come back out as he moves his fist back and goes, right, so I've just dealt a couple of hit points of damage, if you wanted to refer to it like that. If you're measuring the life force of someone, you being someone who has created a certain arcane link with him, could you now heal him for me?
I'm trying to remember what the rules
Shocking
of
grasp.
shocking grasp are. Yes.
You just place your hand on it
Yep.
and it shocks. I'm going to go because of it's for RP rather than we're not going to deal with the rolls and all that. But so you.
I mean, also I'm just going.
Yeah, you place your hand on the electric
it's a touch.
sparks across the body. The lights in his eyes just kind of glow brighter for a bit and then come back down. It just kind of looks between Ellipsis and you and then just looks back up again. He goes, right, so that is a mechanical version of what I can do as a paladin.
Alright.
So if I then punch, I'm not going to do it just because, waste of time, but if I punched you, or if I punched you, or if I punched you, and then I used my ability to heal, there is a measure of how much health you have as a person, which also can be toyed with.
Yeah.
Although there is a clock on your life, there is also an ability to fudge the clockwork.
But that's at that point. That's obviously not your time to go.
Okay, but are we looking at the same side of different coin, or are we looking at the same coin, different sides?
You just said the same thing twice.
Ah, you did, yeah.
No, you either got a heads or a heads, but they're two different coins because a gold piece and a silver piece look different, or you're looking at the heads or tails of a gold piece which look different. Both of them are the same on different coins, but different because they're different metals.
I follow you now.
Or, excuse me.
I get what you're trying to say. I'm trying to quickly bring up my notes about the Raven Queen.
Flicking through my diary that I have.
Because I did have a long list of all the things she believes in, and
That's
I can't
fine.
find it. But if it's not your time to go, it is not your time to go. If when you are on the gates themselves, and someone comes to beckon you across, and you go, aye.
But then are you saying? His argument is if you reach your time, if you can be resurrected, you can be healed.
If you get to the gates and you're summoned by the Raven Queen, either or, the Raven Queen, and you go and turn back, you've gone against what is natural and normal. If someone else has got you in there,
drunk.
Yeah, they've had 4 drams for Klaxis. Ellipsis is on about 5. I imagine Hororae you've had
A couple in.
yeah, but that is the
Up to
point.
that point of the night.
We've got deep.
That's the point.
It's 2 a.m. Everyone's come home from the nightclub.
If it's not your time to go, it's not your time to go.
I understand what you mean to some extent, but in which case does that mean that you disagree with healing
Does the
magics as a
seven
whole?
Well, that's fine, no, because obviously that's not your time to go.
Guys, just a comment. You can both be right
I know.
because, you're sorry to play devil's advocate, but you keep saying it's not your time to go. You're looking at the measurement of a life.
Yes.
We use time as a construct of human perception to allude to how long an illusion created. Oh, God.
I get you.
I put a vote in for pizza.
We'll get pizza.
Right?
Look,
Starting to like you, Planchett.
Thank you.
what I'm suggesting
I've done
is
university.
somehow, and it's going against what you're suggesting in some respects, or it might be something that you want to learn how they're doing it. If I was to put it in an idiot's term for myself to follow along properly, the Raven Queen has a lifetimer that she goes, no, still not your time, and sends you back.
Yeah.
So either way, you get to measure how that works, not just his ruling says.
if someone wants to,
I understand. I
if someone
understand your
wants to get
context. I'm
hold,
just...
if someone wants to get hold of their sand timer and turn it upside down again to give themselves more time, then that's not on. But if they're on the very edge of what they think is death, and she checks her timer and she's still got 30 years left, and they get resurrected, then that's fine. But if you were to cheat the system and give yourself more sand in the timer, then it's pride above nature.
So you wouldn't want to be resurrected if you died?
Well, no, if there was still sand left in there,
But
then,
how would we know?
well, it's not our place to know.
But that's what Hororae's interested in.
Exactly, which is fine. I'm happy for it. But it's the Raven Queen's choice and her, at the end of the day, what she's dependent upon. So you could like resurrect whoever you wish, and that would be fine. If it didn't work, it's obviously their time to go. But if it did work, then hooray!
I follow you.
Grand. Wine and beer.
As I said, I want pizza.
And for some reason, love you ham.
Oh, that really felt like a conversation between like a chemist and a physicist. What a fucking atom does.
I think we'll find that chemistry is just applied physics.
It's physics with liquid.
The definitions are
There's
going.
definitely like brain liquid coming out my ears right now.
Like so what do you actually like? Because you're studying like time. What's your goal? What do you want to like get from it? Because I know what I've got from my study of death, which is, to be honest, I'm completely happy with my life. What?
I just feel like it's like I was saying about myths.
No.
I feel like at the moment we have accepted this story and just accepted that to be the true fact. And there's clearly far more to it. I'm not saying that I have I'm not saying that I want to manipulate life and death. I'm not saying that at all. But there's more to it. And I want answers.
I can share my palm and go, well, to be honest, like, I manipulate life and death pretty much constantly. So, go for it.
Sorry. I wrote your name down wrong, Klaxis.
Klaxis. I'm now played by Sean Connery.
How did you come by such a tool?
I mean, well, big fan of death. One of them more.
Hadn't noticed.
I know, right? I don't talk about it constantly, do I?
No, not at all.
But Hunter's Mark, not Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark is something different. But like, I've got me like Hunter's Bane, so it's a little bit poisonous, just to give you a taste of the other side, and you can kind of embrace that inner darkness and the constant death everyone carries around with them, and use it as a weapon against this like stuff. So the undead are more perceptive towards it and more reactive. Kind of look and go, yeah, just a little bit fucked.
Interesting.
We've got to that point of the night.
What?
This is really beautiful, guys.
I mean, thanks for completely patronising what has become a
Yeah.
life mission for me. Cheers.
Oh, no. I'm just a little bit like, we've all had a few.
I grew up around like the dead, so.
You grew up around.
Oh, my
the
family
dead?
were clerics,
Oh,
so like
that explains something, I suppose.
thanks.
And what brought you to the Knights of Cognition then?
The arsehole in me is trying not to say my feet.
What about another organ? What's that saying?
It's connected to the... No, if we're getting to that part of the night as the doctor keeps whinging,
I'm not whinging, I'm just observing. It's
it may
quite
just be
amusing.
the tone of your voice then. It is grating.
Well,
Fuck
I
me.
think we already know that you don't like me, and we have got to this part of the night.
Okay, cool.
We're getting Larry.
So, I used to work for the Order of the Gauntlet, which is another collection of knights. They are kind of like freelance knights who, or a collection of knights who still believe that we should follow kingdoms rather than gods. So you'll know that the Harpers and the cannot remember the name of the other ones.
That's fine. You're like 6 drinks in, mate. It's fine.
There's a second faction which are tied to each other, the Harpers and the Lord's Alliance. I believe it was. They are the church-owned or churches-owned company. We are owned by those still remaining as kings. So the King of Mirabar has a faction. There is a suggestion that the Lords of Waterdeep have some input to the Order of the Gauntlet. Either way, long story short, I was dealing with a problem in the Underdark, and I remember dying, and it was fucking awesome. Like,
I mean, like, what do I fucking tell you? Like, click.
I was fighting a beholder, and it disintegrated me with a disintegration ray, and I remember waking on a luscious bed in the middle of a very ornate-looking bedroom, and there was a man stood at the foot of the bed, and he was wearing cleric uniform. I couldn't tell which patron he was under, but he was wearing cleric uniform. At least I recognised those, and they had all these wires linked up to me, and it kept sending electricity through me. And I then woke up I blacked out in that room, and I woke up again in the lair of the beholder, with my company dead, apart from one half-breathing, fading out of existence herself, with this greatsword, and he takes the greatsword off his back and places it next to him again, slams it into the floor so it sticks in. She planted this straight through the eye of the beholder, which is kind of fun if you're one for words, but at the same time...
Is the sword called Beauty? No.
Never really named it. There's a sentence I can think of right now which I really want to say, but Game of Thrones stole it. Lots of people name their swords. Yeah, lots of... Anyway. I don't remember much else from that, but I remember leaving and not wanting to do much for the Order, or the Knights of the Gauntlet, or Order of the Gauntlet, whatever they call themselves anymore. They've gone through several merchandise streams, apparently. They have a t-shirt with it. Coming soon. Anyway, no, I can't because it's Wizards of the Coast. Anyway, so I was walking along, trying to get out of the Underdark, and I found this cavern with an ancient silver dragon in, and for the first time in my life, I looked up, and rather than cowering in my boots, I said hello and grinned. And apparently most people he meets are quite... I don't want to use the word coward, because they do very brave things, but they're very subject. They're easy to lead. Look for redemption over anything else, and he set me on a path to prove myself worthy of my new life. And I have no idea what that meant. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just remember brief glimpses of before the Beholder fight and now, and I basically get called by people under either Fruza Farallon, or I'll get a courier come with a note saying this place is looking for a paladin, and I just wander over and I kill something, or I consecrate some ground, or I do something impressive and people smile, and then I get paid and then I leave.
How long ago was your death?
It's autumn now. Would have been 2 autumns ago. First year I spent proving myself worthy of the ability to heal. The second year I've been proving myself worthy of the ability to use my tie to Zephyrilon in combat. And apparently I get to go back to him tonight or tomorrow and sign myself up to some sort of oath. They normally have, I don't know if you guys have spent time with many paladins, but they have these kind of like, oh, we believe in the ancient gods, so they become Oath of the Ancients. There are those that are into, the ones that mainly follow Zephyrilon are those that are known as Redemption Knights. So they spread knowledge to cause peace. He doesn't see eye to eye with me because I think that knowledge should be used to place bad guys in place. He keeps calling me the Conquest Knight, which is hilarious.
Well, if you're gone, is there anything we can do to, like, do you want us to move anything in? Do you want a particular room?
I'm not staying. I'm going to sign up for my oath, or
But
whatever I'm doing, and then I'm going to go to the next...
A room in the house.
Don't like being tied down.
Oh, you don't have to, like, it's just a room.
There's a whole dungeon for that if you fancy it. I've had a lot.
Oh, that's fine. He removes his gauntlet and places his arm in front of you, and you just see scars running across the arm, and then one large one running down the middle, and goes,